So there's obviously a lot of that we'll talk about, but as for what the zone is for people out there so they're not confused, who aren't familiar with it, will you just kind of briefly describe it so that they can get acquainted?
Right. So the Zone is a tele-wellness startup, literally a mobile app that we help kids get more accessible help to mental health, right? So we look at it as mental health increases performance and makes you feel your best, right? So, and it's different for everybody. And we also understand that schools are in a position where they can't hire for every kid, hire every staff member or therapist, right? So how do we position for a kid that's not ready to talk, for a kid that can't afford mental health care? How do we make sure that they have a mobile app in their pockets for whatever they're struggling with, right? And that's the way we kind of look at it, right? So we also, on the other hand, the staff are now able to see the data in aggregate and anonymized. So we give the kid the privacy that they need, but we also help them by helping their staff member understand what they need. So we started with student athletes. That's, has been very home to me, but there's a lot of other things that's in the works, right? When you think about everybody, the mental health has no off season.
So say you're a kid who's in 10th or 11th grade.
Mm-hmm.
You download the Zone.
Mm-hmm.
What happens then?
Well, we actually B2B, right? So we, in the early stages of thinking about this is, you got Headspace, you have Calm, kids could go download this, but the younger generation isn't going to download these things because there's so many things competing. You have social media.
When you say the younger generation, who exactly?
So Gen Z.
Okay.
Gen Z isn't downloading a lot of these apps from the number standpoint, right? So we said, where's the best place that we could start that's not crowded and get a lot of data? And we looked at higher education because they have the money, but then they're also responsible for their kids, right? So what happens is we partner with the school, we're finalizing a partnership. Let me give you a school, Stony Brook. Partnered with Stony Brook, that was our first school, and they licensed the app to give to their student athletes, right? Okay. And their student athletes go through an onboarding of the app learning who they are. So what are the different things you go through? Why do you go through these things? What do you think? And it's quickly accessible, right? So it goes to an onboarding flow. Now, after the onboarding flow, it kind of creates a story in a personalized feel versus the content we have in there, because we have partnerships with, mindfulness companies, meditation companies. We also have a wellness committee that's filled with psychologists, neuroscientists, and everybody that can help build a flow and evidence-based program that can help these kids, right? So everything there is thought out, but the person now, in the morning, they go through check-ins. How do you feel today? And if they say they're feeling angry or whatever, things are pushed up to why are you feeling angry? Is it academics? Is it school? Is it physical? So now it's building a story and it's giving them that emotional intelligence.
Now, so an example like the Stony Brook example. Say I actually have a friend on the Stony Brook soccer team, so shout out to Cameron. So say he's on the app, right?
Right.
He gets up in the morning, he opens up the app. And what is the process of checking in? Like, what is that? Is it just like I click like on a scale of 1 to 10? Is it I'm writing? Like, what is it?
Right. So we know that the Gen Z is very familiar with emojis, right?
Okay.
And tying emojis to feelings. So and communication. So we utilize that literally the simplest way where we got into their pipeline. So now that's the first thing they see is like, how you doing today, right? And they set that tone. It's like, embarrassed or whatever the case may be, they click a move. Now, based off of that, it just prompts them why. What's the reason why?
Do you have to write?
No.
Okay.
It's clicks. Personal, school, physical. Let's say personal, right? Now it's like, okay, this person's feeling like this because of personal reasons. Well, these are the things that can help you. These are the things that your other cohort are utilizing to help them. So now we're pushing the content. Or is this something that you want to talk to somebody about, right? Because beforehand, they had to go online, schedule appointments with a therapist, and now that person,
right.
100 people are scheduling. But now we're creating a chat bot in between that. So now they can have like a conversation with somebody and that can get them through it before they go talk to this.
So just to understand fully, so after they answer like a few different things here and there, this I feel, when you say the content, or like the list, like the
resources,
the list of resources, what are those kinds of resources?
Right, meditation. It could be meditation. It could be educational, right? It could be breathing exercises.
Okay.
It could be based off whatever you click. There's tags for specific things, right? Financial could be your reason, and we're finalizing a partnership with a big company to be our financial wellness partner, right? So wellness is not tied to just oh, I have anxiety, right? It's many different factors, especially when you talk about a kid in college that's causing them to be stressed out. Right. So for every kid that's going through anything, we have specific content in there to help them get through whatever they're going through.
Okay. And how have you noticed, at least thus far, actually even before that, how many schools have used this so far?
Right.
That you guys are in partnerships with?
Right. So we started literally, I'm going to backtrack because I think it leads better into the story. So at 24, I started an events company around...
And you're 29 now.
I'm 29.
Yes.
24, I started an events company around student athletes, younger student athletes. When you talk about younger, 10 to about 17, struggling with identity crisis and trying to help them. But it was themed around basketball camps. And I grew that business to we grew that business about 50 to 75K a year for the first 2 years, right? Okay. And I got into Columbia. After getting into Columbia, one of my professors helped me see the bigger picture and the idea that I had, and we scaled it out. So September 23rd, 2019 is when, me and my partner Eric was on the rooftop and we started to ideate. And from then on, this past December, we launched the first pilot with Stony Brook. Since then, we've been piloting with Stony Brook, Lehigh, Memphis University, NJIT, FAMU. There's a plethora of schools. And then also now, the pilot we wanted to test data. So the pilot, we gave it out for free to really learn what was right, what wasn't right. Was our thought process right? Was our thesis right? And our thesis came out right? And we knew that if this came out right, this is the product we was going to design. So now we're striking these longer term deals with the school and more schools that I told you, that we're finalizing all these 3-year deals to go into the future. But the new product won't be launched until the September, because now we're building out based off that thesis and the testing processes that we was correct. And we was correct basically on the fact that based off of what they go through, kids don't want to have to search. Like young men and women don't want to have to search on I have to go here and find this out. They want things quicker, right? Mm-hmm. The average engagement when you talk about mental wellness apps is 27 minutes a week, right? So that's about give or take 3 to 4 minutes a day. You're not going to get them for an hour. So you have to look at the weekly user rate. So when we looked at our numbers, we're like, after 30 days, the retention is 7.9% in the industry. We was getting anywhere from 9 to 25 on month to month. So I said, okay, this works. And these are the things that work within it. So now let's harp on the bigger picture and then let's grow this, right? Because what we found out is kids don't understand why they need to meditate. Like people give them all these meditation, all these stuff. But if they don't know like why how they're feeling and why they're feeling this way, how you gonna get a kid that's from the Bronx, a tough neighborhood, to understand I'm meditating? Nobody's ever told him that. Nobody in his family ever done it, right? But now if you can give him something that's secure for him in his pocket and he understands like, oh, damn, look at the trends. These are the reasons why this week I was feeling like this. And, it led to my play being like this, or it led to me outbursting like this. Well, we're trying to get you proactive versus just being reactive all the time. And that's why it's a big data play on that end too.
Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't done so already, please make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Instagram at Felix.Levine. And if you have something to say, please leave a comment.